Good afternoon. When it comes to consulting, sometimes you got real basic assignments. Install this software, upgrade this system, do a health check on whatever software package or operating system or server system that they're running. Uh, Ensure that everything's going fine. Those are easy work. Go in, do your basics, make recommendations, submit a report, have a discussion with the client, move on to the next thing. And some implementations might take you, I don't know, a couple days. Other implementations, you may be there for a few months. That's the nature of what it is. Then you've got the ones where you're called in because whatever system they've been running for however long has gone off the rails. Or even worse, maybe they haven't even gotten it implemented yet, but in the process of implementing it, this project's gone sideways. Okay. That's when you get a phone call. We need you at client X tomorrow. So you don't get a lot of background on it other than maybe a couple telephone calls with the customer. What's going on? Um, Often they're angry at some point, and it may have nothing to do with you. Generally, it doesn't have anything to do with you, um, but they're spending a lot of money. They're not getting the results they're looking for, and they need help. Okay. When this occurs, you got to understand at their side that whoever's calling you has already gotten to the point where they realize that whatever resources they can leverage internally is not going to solve the problem. They've already gone to the vendor of the product, and maybe your company if you happen to work for that particular vendor. But they've already gone to the vendor of that product and said, hey, we're having this problem, and somehow they've been unable to resolve it. So at some point here, they've either gone up their chain of command and requested money to say, we need to get somebody in here that's a subject matter expert that can fix this. Or they've gone to your company or the vendor and said, hey, this is not doing what you promised, and we're really angry, and you're not going to have us as a customer anymore, or we're going to be in litigation. Whatever the reason is, at that point, maybe the vendor, and if you work for the vendor, maybe it's your company, has said, you know what, we'll foot the bill, but we're going to put somebody on site to help you resolve this problem. And I've done this more times than I can count in my career. But when you show up, often the customer is not happy. And the most important thing I can tell any consultant at this point is the hardest part of these type scenarios are not technical. Okay? You've already got the technical chops to be able to solve this problem, or you wouldn't be the guy they're sending out. The hardest part is dealing with the customer, dealing with the client. I'll use the word diplomacy because that's really what it is. Okay? Even if the problem is entirely the customer's fault, and that happens sometimes. Okay, they haven't taken advice. I've had systems go completely offline because they didn't follow advice that was documented to them X number of months prior. But that's not how you're going to approach this. You don't go in and say, hey, if you listen to us, this wouldn't be happening. That's a real good way to lose your client. It's a real good way that now their anger that they had before we absolutely will be focused on you. So do not do that, okay? What you want to do, and the most important step, the most important first, second, third step is listen, be an ear. Even if it takes them a day. I've had customers just wanted to vent for an entire day, and you just got to let it get it off their chest because they feel like at this point nobody's been listening to them. They feel like no matter what they've done, haven't solved the problem. So if you can listen and listen carefully, if you can listen and understand what the problem is, that's 90% of your problem, okay? Second part of the problem, maybe you have no idea what's going on right now. Maybe you're like, I've never seen this problem before. I've worked in the system for years. I've never seen it do this. Okay, that's fine. Also, not a good time to express that, okay? One of the things that will get you through situations like this is express confidence, okay? You are the subject matter expert. The customer is expecting you to come in and be the subject matter expert. He's expecting you to come in and solve this problem. So after you are done listening and during the time you're listening, the one thing you really need to express and exude is confidence. You need to tell them, I'm here now. I've got this problem. When we're finished, this problem will be resolved and you will be happy. Okay? I'm here. When I'm done, and this problem is, when I'm done, before I leave, this problem will be resolved and you will be extremely happy with the results. Now, you might be saying in the back of your head, I've got no idea how to fix this. That's fine. Keep that to yourself. The point is, if you've done this for a while, you're going to figure out how to solve this problem. And if you've got a strong support network within your corporation, and most consultants, almost all consultants I know do, you'll be able to reach back and find somebody else that has seen this problem. Or maybe you've, me, I keep my back channels open to engineering if I need to. So if I can't get anywhere with the various support organizations, I can certainly go back and talk to the engineers. Generally, I'm able to figure out a problem. And all of you in technology know this. Sometimes you look and say, I know what this is, we can fix it. Other times it might take you a few days, maybe even a week of detective work, breaking down the subsystems, figuring out where the failure is. You'll get it, and you can solve the problem. There's no reason you're going to leave without the problem being resolved. If you can't solve it, you're going to know somebody that can help you solve it. The point is, though, if you can get the customer to get some confidence in you, that does a couple things. One, they're clearly under a lot of stress by the time you get there. Whether it's a team of people or the person overseeing the team, there's heat on somebody and they're going to be stressed. So by listening to them and making them feel like you understand what they're trying to say, that's going to take some of the heat off them, at least in the short term. Good for their mental health. It'll also give them the confidence that they can go off and do something else because you're in charge of fixing this and you will get this done. And if you've done the other thing I told you, expressed a lot of confidence to your customer, that will again reassure them that you will get this resolved. Now, one of the things that helps you with is avoiding micromanagement. Okay, a lot of times a customer is going to want to, is it done yet? What are you doing? What are you working on? What's your next steps? Well, a lot of times you don't know that right away. You're still trying to do detective work and figure it out. But if given a status report every hour to somebody, it really slows down the process. So maybe once or twice a day, if you can update them as to what's going on with this escalation activity or whatever you want to call it, it buys you some time to get your job done. Okay. Again, one of the things I also like to do within my consulting practice is whenever people ask me for help, other consultants, engineering, whoever is asking me, I often like to go out of my way to help them because times like this, when I'm in a situation where it's an interesting problem or a challenging problem, it's nice to be able to reach back to them and go, hey, can you help me out? And you know what? They're more apt to help you out if you were there for them when they needed you. So it works both ways. Networking is definitely a give and take relationship. So give as much as you can because it'll help you out later. And every time you solve one of these issues, of course, your experience level goes up and it makes it easier. So that's it. In short, listen to your customers, express confidence even if you don't have it internally yet. It'll come. And the more of these you go, that gets easier. Give feedback to your customers as requested. And when you're done, make sure they're happy with everything. Okay? I mean, at the end of the day, it's our clients that pay us, and that's why we're in business. So we've got to keep them happy. And the other thing you can take away post-mortem to these types of scenarios is find out how they got in this spot in the first place. If it was a software defect, that's fine. That can be fixed. If it was a process defect, that can be rectified through documentation. If you had a consultant in place that was part of this project and maybe that's the reason it got off the rails, that's okay too. There's no blame here. What you do at that point is you try to document it and put it in as sort of a best practice to make sure these things don't happen again. So that's it. Just another way you can be successful as a technology consultant, and good talking to you again.